for us, like shoes, you know, we're like, oh, I want a chimichurri, you know.
Chimichurri.
Where? Please, hopefully I'm saying it right. You know me, I've never bought it, so I don't know if I'm saying it right.
There's a shoe called chimichurri.
Sunday wind down, Ida with the voice on the speaker, Sunny on the mic and it's all round. Conversations are bigger, so fill my cup. I'm already tuned in all the way up. Can't stop listening now.
Welcome to the Sunday Wind Down podcast. I'm your girl, Ida Alicia.
And I'm DJ Sunny Sistuki. Welcome to another fabulous Sunday again. And today we have some hot things we want to talk about.
Like your tea. How hot is your tea, Sunny? How desperate are you to meet Jesus?
Depends how hot my tea is.
Hey.
If my tea is super hot, I might meet him sooner.
That's actually a good one. But how desperate are you? Like, you know, when you think about death, if you die, will you go to heaven? What do you imagine life after earth it looks like? Or what do you imagine?
You want the honest truth about what I imagine happens?
I would honestly prefer the honest truth. Yes.
I think after you die, nothing happens.
What? So you just die, you die. Like,
you die, you're gone.
You know how they say your soul, you have a soul. Where do you think that goes?
Like in our culture, they believe in reincarnation, right?
Yeah.
So they say if you're gonna be good, if you're gonna be a good person in your life, you'll reincarnate as a king or as a human that is well. But if you're a bad person, you could reincarnate as a fly or as...
I'm gonna be so rich when I reincarnate. I believe I'm a good person. But you know,
that's what the culture says. Me personally,
we don't even know.
I just know that I think I don't know. I think when you die, you go.
You're gone. That's the end of your story. Full stop.
Full stop.
I don't know. I think there's a good place and a bad place. I don't want to necessarily call it heaven and hell, but I know there's a good place. I remember growing up to primary school, they used to say kuna purgatory. Now, what I imagined purgatory was, so there was heaven, hell, and purgatory. And so hell, purgatory, and then heaven. So purgatory, like, ni kama reception. It's a waiting area.
It's the lobby.
The lobby. They decide what they want to do with you.
Whether you're going down or up.
Yeah. So, a lift. You're waiting for the lift. So if it's going up, you're lucky. You know, so I didn't understand that concept. And I think I am asking you this because there's been a lot of talks about Pastor Mackenzie Mpinge. Have you heard about him?
You know, very up and apale, just here and there. I don't know too much about it. So I'm going to rely on you to give me information on this thing.
Well, and this is just what's out there on the news. I mean, BBC picked this up as a news article. They're working on getting more information. Of course, it's trending in Kenya, all social media platforms and news networks. And so this man has a church. To a lot of people, it would be called a cult. To him, it's a church. And he says the work of the people here on earth is done. And he's telling them to starve themselves because it's time to meet Jesus. And so the strategy is you start with your kids. So you stop feeding your child until they die. We're going to, of course, bury the body because the child has gone to see Jesus. And then we'll get to your wife. And after your wife, now you. And I wonder why men are last. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But he has convinced so many people to do that, Sunny. As we speak, and I was looking at stats, it's still very correct as of this moment. 89 bodies have been recovered from, he has a farm that's, I think they said 800 acres, a big farm. They have recovered 89 dead bodies from people who are said to have followed his religion and been his followers for a while. These are children, women, and some men too. They've recovered people who are alive. And the people who've been saved are still on a hunger strike. They said they're not eating. He has been arrested. He's in police custody. And he said he's not eating too. So I'm like, how desperate am I to meet Jesus? I mean, I love the Lord, don't get me wrong. I love him a lot. I'd rather not meet him now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just, he's present even now in what I believe in. I'm like, we don't need to be meeting face to face that quickly.
One thing I saw on social media about this was about a woman who was very headstrong, successful, something of that nature, and somehow got sucked into this cult.
Is this the lady who worked for, is it Qatar?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, I haven't put a lot of, I don't know a lot of information into this thing.
Right. But so if it's the same lady we were talking about, this lady came home to bury her son. So, you know how, for example, like you leave your kid with your mom, your parents, and you go work abroad. Some people, you know, at least they have that support at home and they can do that.
Right.
So left her son and went to work, of course. And so came back. She was told, oh, your son has gone to be with the Lord. He's dead. So she came back for the funeral. And she was, you know, of course, preparations and everything. But then soon after the funeral and everything, she sold everything in her name. Every asset that she had, and disappeared and went away. She left a letter, so which I read. It's somewhere on social media circulating. It's also on news platforms in Kenya. Left a letter and said to the husband, I think this is time for me to go now. I have, you know, I hate that I'm doing this, but right now it's my time. It's my time. I need to go. And I don't know so much about that story. I don't know if they found her body yet or anything, but she's still disappeared in thin air.
Now this tells me, this guy, this pastor himself, how is he benefiting from his congregation starving and killing themselves?
Well, I think to him, I honestly, truly, I don't understand. Or is it just a mental
health issue where he truly believes something and he has somehow convinced so many people that this is the fact?
Isn't that religion as a whole, though? It's mental and convincing of a lot of people. True. You know what's also kind of what's going on is the church. The church is always so loud about everything. LGBTQ, they're the first ones to speak.
Yeah.
How comes? And people are asking the same on social media. The church is not speaking. So have you been caught? Have you been called out? Like, are you doing the same thing? Why would you not condemn?
Yeah.
Usually you're the first one to speak loudly about issues like this.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and then, you know, it's crazy because there are churches where the pastor is not just Pastor Nani. They call them dad and mom. You know, they're very dear to us. They're dad and mom.
There's a reason. The more we talk about this, the more I solidify my reason for not being religious.
No, and see, now, me, I come from a place where I have been religious all my life. Now, the difference is when I was very religious and lived in Kenya, I was not allowed to question.
Yeah.
I moved here. I can question things and you can challenge things, and that's okay.
Yeah, you were not empowered to question.
I was not even empowered to question. It's what they said, and it is gospel truth. And you know, it's sickening. And it brings the question, Sunny. Is it obsession with this so-called heaven? Do we even know if it exists? Or is it just brainwashing? Because this mom and dads be driving the biggest Range Rovers, the latest ones, and you walk. You walk and you give all your money to mom and dad, eh?
Yes. Let me tell you, I used to work at a car dealership. And the pastors that would come and buy cars.
Please.
You've probably experienced this.
Don't remind me. I sold the most expensive... Okay, so I used to work at a car dealership too. Yeah. It's so funny. But I sold the most expensive Range Rover autobiography that I have ever laid eyes on to a pastor. He was a Nigerian pastor. You would walk into my dealership. He would walk in there and everybody would be like, oh, Ida, your girl's here. His shoes are crocodile skin. He has this long-ass jacket that is, could be very flamboyant again because he's Nigerian. Nigerians, they like to look good, so there's that.
They like to be flashy.
Yeah, they like to be a little flashy, so there's that. But all this to say, the amount of money he had and his congregation, Sunny, here in North Carolina, here in Raleigh, I'll tell you, is about 30, 50 people. Tell me where you get that kind of money, Mr. Pastor.
Only about 50 people.
Yeah. He had a small church. And right now, I don't know, because this is a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe his church grew or whatever, and it's good that you reminded me, but that man had like a small church, like a beginning church, like a baby church.
Man, I sold a car to a pastor and his wife. Some of the most rudest people... The mostest rudest. I don't even know if I can say that.
So that's very conflicting. They're pastors.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Their credit was short. And it's the blue collar worker that has not a very big salary is the one that is co-signing for the pastor. Because he has a good credit score, but he's making like 30,000 a year.
Oh my God.
And this pastor that is making millions... Everything they own, the congregation has put it in their name credit-wise.
Oh, for sure.
So these cars were in so-and-so's name. This car is in so-and-so's name. Their house they live in is in... The mortgage is in so-and-so's name because their credit is good.
You know what they do, Sunny? Sorry. When they get questioned, you know what they say? Even the Bible says, the servant of the Lord shall not sleep hungry. And that is the answer that I have received in the past.
You
know, I'm like, okay, so like, why do we give you so, like, okay, fine, like, okay, I don't know, tithing. I did believe in tithing at some point, like where you give your first fruit or 10% of your salary back to the church. But then I was like, this man is getting fat. All he's doing is eating off of my tithe. And I started doing something different where I would go to a children's home or whatever. But that is not appreciated.
Yeah.
That is not tithing. In their eyes, you're not tithing. What are you doing? That is whatever money you're... In the eyes of the church, that's not called tithing.
Yeah, but who cares about the tithe?
Exactly, and that's where I am now, and that's where I stand. I'm spiritual. I still believe there's a God. I pray. But I had this conversation with my mom, and she was like, yo, where it is, just make sure you have a separate relationship with the God that you believe. Because these people we follow, now look, 89 bodies found because the pastor said we should
all starve.
We don't even go to vote because our own rights, people don't vote as much as they follow the church.
The church.
And I speak this for Kenya because it's a very religious country and predominantly Christianity. And I know we have a lot of Muslims right now as well. Like remember back in the day, it was like almost 80% Christianity. Yeah. But now it's close to like a 60-40, which is good. It's a good balance. But still, the church just has failed us as a country. I remember when the current president, Mr. Ruto, was being elected, he turned to the church. And let me tell you how many souls he won. Because Kenyans are Christians. Yeah. People, they follow the church very religiously. People are like, oh, this one goes to church, let us follow him. Now they're complaining, oh, he needs to go. The country is in a disaster. Oh, but you voted blindly.
Yeah.
It's on you, But, I mean, I don't know what you guys... feel about this story or how much educate us. Please write on the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. But I just think it's bananas.
I honestly think religion in general is a way of brainwashing people and a way of controlling people. Because I'll give you another example. India. I have never been to India.
How have you never been to India?
I just have never been. I need to make it a point to go
I know.
to my ancestral lands.
Right?
But I've never been to India.
Yeah.
However, my family has been several times. My mother is always there. My father is always there.
Right.
Needless to say, they are very religious. To the point where if there's a temple, there are places where there's a temple that was built and then the infrastructure has grown and they will not take down this temple. There's a whole highway, but it goes around a temple.
Are you kidding me? So they can't redo the temple. Amma, what is going on?
No,
it's so holy.
It's so holy. It's that holy.
And God lives there now.
People give so much of their earnings to the temple. My grandmother, who was a very non-wealthy person, lived a very poor lifestyle.
Right.
For the most of her life, she never even slept on a bed. They slept on the floor. Yeah. Right?
But that could also be India's heart. You don't think? Or it's just poverty as a whole?
It's just poverty as a whole. Because I know my mother telling me when they grew up, grew up in a house like the size of this room. You sleep there, you cook there.
Yeah, it was very poverty. Small. Okay,
yeah. However, most of the money they got, he gave to the temple. Religiously. Without any... Now, this brings me to another issue where I say religion is a control mechanism. And a cult is just an extreme version of where they take it a little too far.
Right.
Instead of just keeping it where they can just control people.
Right.
There's always been a Hindu and a Muslim rivalry and rift within India.
Okay.
To the point where India and Pakistan were separated because Pakistan is more Muslim, India is more Hindu. There was even a big, almost a genocide where people in the millions killed each other. Now, currently, the current prime minister... The next school year, primary school, are going to read off of different history books. They have rewritten the history books.
So they cleared off the books that were there.
They have taken off anything that praised Muslims.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. In fact, when India got independence from Britain, there was a prominent figure who was a key part in this independence.
Okay.
He was Muslim.
Okay.
They've taken his name off of that history book.
Wow. Just because he was Muslim.
Yeah.
He played a big part in the independence, but because he was Muslim, we're rubbing him off the story of the history completely.
And obviously the government is denying that that's what they're doing. The Ministry of Education, their explanation was, due to the pandemic, education that now had taken a step back because kids were not going to school and stuff. So now we are overloading kids with too much information. So we had to shrink down the syllabus. Wow. And that is the explanation. So they're saying those things that we have taken out just happen to be part of a lot of other things that we have taken out also. But it's very clear.
But in
what
reality, you can see what they're doing.
So
that is
it's sad.
Absolutely bananas. It's crazy because this man, the Pastor Mackenzie that we were talking about earlier, apparently he has been in police custody before. Okay, so he was arrested because of something of the same sort a few years back, 15, 17, 18. Like a few years he's been, rubbing shoulders with the cops. Then he gets released. Why? Because, obviously he has money to make bail. But mind you, one of the bail that was listed that he had to make bail to be released was 10,000 Kenya shillings. That's how much? $100?
What?
Only. Mind you, just the other day, Eric Omondi was going to the prisons, just because there's people who are there for petty issues,
crimes,
and could easily pay bond and leave, but then they don't have that kind of money because, again, poverty. He would go in there and somebody who was caught selling tomatoes and didn't have maybe a license to be on that road has been put in there and the bond is like 30,000.
And this pastor that's killing people, hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these people are wealthy, yes? And like I said, like this one, the one I sold the vehicle to was really, really flashy. And that brings me to another point. I don't know why wealth and wearing designers is
being flashy.
And being flashy. Like, how is that even connected? I would like to be really rich and still like wear what I wear. Or even just be in the comfort of very comfortable clothes. They don't have to have Fendi or...
Right.
Sometimes you look like I'm Shamba, to be honest. And some people will just mix Fendi and
Gucci,
Dior and then Gucci shoes and then a bag. It's like, baby, like, it's okay. Wear one brand at a time. They're not running away from you. How do you feel about that, though?
So could we say that is also some sort like a cult? It's some sort of an obsession.
I would imagine.
Now, is this wearing designer and being all flashy? Could we call it an obsession as well?
It is definitely an obsession, maybe not a cult. Because some people are really obsessed. You'll see, like me, honestly, I don't really even keep up with the trends. You'll see somebody say, "Oh my God, like Gucci dropped the latest bag that is and it's like $5,000." I'm like, what am I carrying in the bag? Why is the bag $5,000? Unless I'm removing my hat, I put it in the bag and will put it back in my hat later, like in my body. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
People who just get into money and they get into wearing brand names. And it's not just the brand names. Okay. The brand has to be flashy.
Yeah.
Like, people have to know that this is a certain brand name.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't even know that many brand names to be able to say the brand names.
There's the popular ones, Prada, Gucci,
Yeah, Louis.
Calvin Klein. Is that even a brand now?
Tom Ford.
Yeah, I think we have a few.
Okay, so those, right? Now, a lot of these brand names that tend to have the brand name so flashy out there, number one, I think they're fakes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Who is fake?
The clothing itself is not an authentic Tom Ford or an authentic Gucci.
No, but some of them are bought from the store itself.
And those are this category of people, in my opinion, that have just achieved wealth or achieved money, and now it's time to show I've got money.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you go beyond that. And there's this new trend that, have you heard of the term quiet luxury?
Actually, I have, yeah.
So this is the new trend where what you wear is expensive, for the most part, very good quality. However, you don't put a brand name on it. Yeah,
like you're not bothered about the big
what it says.
Fendi.
Yeah, you're bothered about how comfortable it is.
Correct.
How it feels.
And half these times, let me tell you, like maybe for us, like shoes, we're like, oh, I want a chimichurri,
Chimichurri.
Where? Please, hopefully I'm saying it right. You know me, I've never bought it, so I don't know if I'm saying it right.
There's a shoe called chimichurri.
So it's Jimmy, but I think they say, oh, it's a chimichurri. Girl, listen, I am just saying what I hear them say. Because it's
you're
not
about to say chimichanga. That's what I'll be ordering at the Mexican restaurant.
It's not the same. It's not the same. So those shoes, sometimes you'll wear somebody's red bottoms. Cute. It's really cute to look at. But it's equally as painful because, it doesn't make it at the because it's so expensive, it's so comfortable to wear. And that's how I learned of quiet luxury, because like there's a good shoe. I don't even know what brand of shoe I can possibly mention here. Oh my God, I know of a brand of shoe I can mention here. Cohen's. Have you ever worn Cohen's?
I own like 10 pairs.
And they're the most comfortable shoes.
Yeah, they're very comfortable.
And they don't put their brand like, boom, Cohen's. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I'd rather buy a Cohen before I go and buy a Jimmy Choo.
Yeah.
Because...
There's another shoe also, I think Loro Piano or something like that.
Hey, Kube, you know brands. Hey, Loro Piano.
These ones are like thousands of dollars.
Okay.
But they don't really brand them out like that.
They're also quite luxury.
They're quite luxury.
And I came to understand, Sunny, so a lot of the times when the brands are so pronounced or so, it's because the brand wants to make you feel like part of them. What you are, you're a walking billboard.
Yeah, and again...
You think you're literally just an advertisement.
True.
And and I have no hate. If you feel like you want to wear Gucci from top to bottom, it's not because I can't afford it that I am a hater. I just would rather not wear something written Gucci all over.
Yeah.
I would, if I were to honestly vote, I probably would be in the quiet luxury bracket more than I would be in the other one. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I find a nice little bag that is Prada and I think it's cute without the big ass Prada logo, I probably will wear it or buy it. But I'd rather buy my brown bag that says protect Black women. That bag is cheap by such good quality. It has a message that it's sending across. Proceeds are going back to the community. And I'm doing something that I know is going to be beneficial for somebody,
I see.
It's not just like, okay, and these brands half the time, they don't give a shit about you. It's one of these brands that people say, oh, we're boycotting whatever, but then you still buy it because you don't want to be left by the train.
Also, a lot of times, people who tend to be wealthy, people tend to know of them.
Yeah.
So they are somewhat, I wouldn't say they are public figures because they are not actors, actresses, or comedians or musicians for that matter. They're not in the limelight.
Popular.
But they're just known like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. You just know this is a wealthy person.
Yeah.
And if they were to wear something and someone was to photograph them wearing a certain brand and the brand was really out there, it would be like they are promoting this brand for free.
It is a paid partnership, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's why a lot of these quiet luxury brands that these elite wear don't have this big branding. However, only the people in the know end up knowing, oh, you're wearing this brand or that brand because they have some signature stitching or they have something like that. Yeah.
Even beddings. You've seen that there's like some that have different kind of stitching, and you go back and be like, why are these bed sheets so expensive? It's the how they are made that makes them really stand out. It's not saying Gucci, not sleeping on a Gucci pillow, whatever, but stuff like that. It's interesting. Maybe my thoughts may change. If you see me with a big Gucci, it's saying Gucci from here to Timbuktu. Just know I came across money. That would be my signature.
The funny thing is, now that we're talking about putting brands out there and just being out and flamboyant and the brand is out there.
Yeah.
I just came to realize I wear my own brand, my own Sistuki shirts a lot when I travel and stuff like that. And it is just out. Like, it is so big. It's on the shirt.
Calling the kettle black.
But it's my brand, so I'm pushing it.
Yeah.
And if anyone who's wearing it is pushing my brand, then that's fine.
That's different. And your brand is not necessarily expensive. You wouldn't say people are breaking bank to buy it. Yeah. They are supporting, pushing your brand.
Yeah.
I guess that's different. Is it different? I don't know. Tell us if it's different.
But now, let me ask you this. What is your definition of luxury?
That's a good question. My definition of luxury is not needing something, right? But being able to have it because I can. And not being held back by either time or money. It's just luxury to me. Time or money is not holding me back from having or going towards luxury, I guess. Yeah. What does it mean to you?
So I would say when I can have what I want, not necessarily what I need.
Correct. Yeah.
So it could be in terms of material possession. It could be in terms of time. It could be in terms of a place I want to be at.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
It could be either one of those things, but a want, not a need. Like, if you're working and you're supposed to be at work at 10 a.m. tomorrow, you need to be there at 10 a.m.
You need to be there, yeah.
Because you're going to get that paycheck.
Yeah.
Or do I want to be there at 10 a.m.? So it's when I can have what I want, regardless of whether it's time, material possession, or a place to be.
I'm wondering, is this mindset a new thing now that so I would call you famous. More people know of you than they know you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And I think that's what fame is. People will know of you. Even people who don't know you personally know of you.
Yeah.
And so I would think, I'll call you famous. I was going to ask you, is this a thought that had been there prior to your fame, or did it come after your fame?
A thought of what? Luxury?
The luxury. The way you just described it. Were you still there at that place before you got famous?
I think I didn't have the luxury of having the luxury.
What is that? Now I have to think about that for a minute.
Like how people will say, I don't have the luxury of
I just needed a minute.
Yeah. So there was a time I didn't have the luxury of having that luxury.
Right.
We've all come and we've hustled. A lot of people have come and have hustled and have suffered, especially when you come, when you leave your country and things like that.
Yeah.
And you go through a lot of things to get to where you are.
Yeah, for sure.
But in the back of my mind, I always thought one day I would like to be able to have the time. I would like to be able to travel. I would like to be able to. And that has always kind of been my definition of luxury.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah. To quote one of my favorite Kenyan bands, I wanna be rich.
I'm already famous. I always sing that song that way. I say, I want to be rich. I'm already famous. Fame does not completely guarantee wealth. And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I recorded a video the other day and I did not post it. Sunny, I was in my workout clothes like I am right now. And I was not looking put together. I walked or whatever and I was going into Walmart. And I recorded a video and said, one thing I like about being in America is that I can go to Walmart looking like this. Do you remember when we were in Kenya? I couldn't leave. I had to put on a wig because somebody
glasses.
Somebody in the streets will take a picture of me and say, "Oh, look at her. She looks da-da-da-da." Boy, I just woke up. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to put effort in how you look for people.
Yeah.
Because they think they know you. And they have a perception that if you're not looking put together, you're poor or, isn't life going your way? And they just spread that. And I realized, oh my God, me being in America, I really enjoy just being Ida, aside from Ida Alicia, because that's what they know.
Aside from being that brand.
The brand, I'm just saying, I'm Ida. I mean, if you like interact with me on a personal level, you'll still get I can't separate Ida Alicia and the brand from the person. It's one person.
Yeah.
But Ida also just needs a break. I don't want to put together all the fucking time when I don't need to be put together.
I think that's the benefit, the difference, and maybe a benefit as well between being in Kenya and being in the US.
Yeah.
Because other celebrities as well, really famous celebrities, can go out to Walmart or Target. They probably have people that shop for them at Target.
But sometimes they're in their stores. Yeah.
They can go to a store, they can go to the mall, and they can just wear track pants or whatever and slippers, and they can show up like that. Not a big deal even if they are photographed there. But for some reason in Kenya, they feel like if you're a celebrity or if you're famous, if you're well known,
it's like
then you always have to be like a certain look. Like the look you portray on screen is the look you need to have all the time.
Yeah, and I don't do that. Boy, I don't do that. And that's why I'm like, the people who enjoy Ida as a person and as a brand together are my favorite kind of people. Because honestly, I am just me. You met me at a place where you thought, oh my God, I came with all these things. But like the bigger picture, honestly, I'm just a person. When I went to Kenya, I'm in Donholm buying fish at the woman who sells it on the streets. People are like, unakulanga samaki ya barabara? Yeah. We unakula kwa nini mimi nisikule? You know what I'm saying? And that's like you said, that's also why I particularly enjoy being in the US.
Yeah.
As much as the fame is out there, I just enjoy it here. It's just more peaceful, less pressure, I feel like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going back to that quiet luxury aspect, the other words I would use for that is stealth wealth.
Ooh, look at you using your brain on a random Sunday. Cheers.
Because if you, in case you haven't noticed, I also have a new look.
You know, we saw the glasses. Nowadays, you're looking like that. What was the name of that guy?
It's quiet luxury. I'm not telling you the brand.
You know what? And it's not even branded. And that's what's making it look really chic.
Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, follow us at Sunday Wind Down on all platforms. On Instagram at Sunday WD Podcast. Sunday Wind Down Podcast on TikTok. And for any questions or queries, email us at sundaywdpodcast@gmail.
Or at sistuki@gmail. That's also an easy email for you to remember.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but follow us on our social media platform. But anyway, who am I? I'm not Alicia if I don't mess up at least once in this podcast.
So
guys, bye.
We have our podcast on many platforms, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Cheers.
Until then, bye.
I'm okay, Sunday wind down, baby.